Traders, good morning. Um, Thank you for joining me again on our live streaming, doing a technical analysis for the London session open. At the moment, I'm on GBP US dollar. As you know, this is my favorite currency pair. I am very bullish on GBP USD. It's just it's having a bit of a pullback, and I'm trying to calculate how far that pullback is going to be before we push up even higher. So it's a bit frustrating because we're just in this bit of this consolidation at the moment. So just trying to figure out when the price is going to reverse and start pushing into the upside and taking out these previous highs. We know that we're bullish because we are trading above the 200 EMA. We are creating higher lows and we are generating higher highs. So, yep, looking for long positions. I have, in fact, already taken this as a potential long position. And the reason why is because on the hourly, let me drop back up to the hourly, we can see that the price came up, liquidity was taken, it came back down to this verified hourly demand zone, it then tried to push itself back up again, failed to break, coming back down for a retest. And I must admit, I perhaps should have waited a little bit longer to see whether or not the price does continue and come back down. But that's fine. If I get stopped out, I'll have a better indication of my entry. So I am looking for longs. And if I get stopped out today, perfectly fine. I'll just reevaluate and just wait for that long to that confirmation and then re-enter into the market. Let's take a look at the Euro US dollar. Relatively similar path to the GBP USD. Oh, look at this head and shoulders. Absolutely great on the on the hourly time frame. Great head and shoulders. Again, we're bullish, although at the moment we look a bit bearish here. What's coming out today? Inflation rate is potentially coming out. That's at 1 o'clock, along with a lot of other microeconomic data today as well within the US. So this is a little bit of it's not going to be a very fun market, for prop traders, because this is a very macroeconomic news intensive week. So we got to be very, very careful about these types of things. However, I am bullish on the high time frames on the euro dollar because we are trading above the 200 EMA. We've clearly come back down for if I draw out the Fibonacci, maybe we've just come back down to the 0.5 Fib level. And so this is a nice pullback zone to enter into a position into the upside. So I'm also looking for longs on the euro dollar today as well. And it has been playing very nicely into our technicals where price came up. Liquidity was taken. We can confirm that by this long wick candle. And now we've had this slight pullback and now we're just waiting to see. We're now waiting for long opportunities on the euro dollar. I'll come back to the euro dollar in a moment. USD JPY JU is just in this is just a consolidating market. It's a very frustrating market to be trading at the moment. Just look at this. It's just consolidating. Really don't like that. I really do not like trading a consolidating market, especially if there's no clear trend emerging. We are certainly bullish on the JU, but remember, when we go to the DXY, we are looking at a potential reversal on the DXY. And if that's the case, then we're going to see this drop. We'll be looking for change of characters. We'll be looking for a lot of these previous internal liquidity lows to get hit as well. So I'm waiting for a shorting position on the JU. It's just not coming out. It's just there's just no clear sign for me. We can certainly see that whenever the price enters into this verified supply zone, we do see an original push down, which is very, very nice. But I mean, on the higher time frames, I can't really enter into position because nothing is very clear to me at all. So this is on the 4-hour frame. We can see prices trying to come up. It's trying to break that. Would have been maybe a really nice, like a lower time frame entry there, and targeting just before this low potentially. But like I said, I'm not looking to take any positions on JU at the moment. Let's head over to the DXY. Okay, so DXY has been trending up quite aggressively recently, which is wonderful. What we have seen is that the price pushed up. It then entered into this verified supply zone and then pushed itself down, generating a new demand zone. And so I am hoping now within this red box on the lower frames, let's go to the lower frames. I'm hoping that within this box, this acts as a potential area of resistance or a supply zone where the price is going to push itself back down, and then this would help me play. This will help me with my longs on JU and the euro dollar. Let me just jump back to the GBP. I think this has gone down now, hasn't it? Yeah, yeah, because the London session has just started. Let's take a look at what's happening. Yeah, it's not looking very promising for my trade at the moment. Oh well, it's okay. These things happen. Let's jump back to DXY. So yeah, lovely. We can start to see a bit of a reaction, but I'm a little bit afraid that if this high gets broken, then let me just draw that out. If this high gets broken, then of course my other trades are not really going to play out as good. But I don't believe it's going to break this high. I don't think it's going to go higher than this. I think it's just going to end up in this zone. Hopefully it's going to reverse now, but I think it's just going to react to this zone before then seeing a push all the way down and grabbing liquidity that is resting below this level, right? So long-term and short-term bearish on DXY. It needs to come back down again. It needs to come back down again before it can push itself back up, and then we may see this type of reaction. Let me jump out to the higher time frames because I've already put in a potential forecast on how the DXY is going to react throughout this week. Looks like TradingView has crashed on me. Let's see if we can open up any other currency pairs. Open a new tab maybe. Oh, cool, great. Luckily, we just ended up on the GBP USD to see that. That's wonderful. I don't know why this tab closed without saving. I don't know what happened to that tab. Yeah, so on the DXY, yeah, hopefully we're just going to see a bit of a reaction. Hopefully the reaction is happening now, which we are somewhat seeing. And it's going to be a nice push down here, back into this verified demand zone, potentially taking out liquidity resting below these lows here. And then we might see another shallow, not shallow, sorry. We might see another pullback into the upside, re-grabbing that liquidity that is now being formed here. And then we'll see that. But ultimately, that's right, I was going to zoom out, wasn't I? Ultimately, I am bearish on DXY, and I am expecting that the price will eventually come back down to these previous lows here. So like 98,215, maybe even break the 97,636 level, right? So I'm hoping we're going to see a really nice push into the downside on the DXY, pushing all of our other major currency pairs up, which would be great. Let's head over to gold. We have changed character. We are now bearish on gold. We can certainly see this because we have broken market structure numerous times with full body candlestick breaks. You can see we broke here, we broke here. These are definitely change of character. Signals to show that we are now going to be pushing much further down. So although I'm not entering any positions on XAU at the moment, if you are looking for shorting positions, then it might be a good opportunity at the moment, because I don't think we're going to break here. I don't think we're going to be breaking down here, though. We're not going to be breaking this line here. We're not going to go that far. We're not going to go that deep, but I certainly can see what is going on with this. Just delete this. I can certainly see that there's liquidity here, and we are having a reaction to that liquidity. There is liquidity resting here. And this is all internal. This is all internal. I would consider this to be the target. This to me seems like a very strong target if I'm shorting XAU, because yes, we're gonna have a few, bumps on the way down, because now we're changing character on the 4-hour frame. When we get to this area here, we can see that this was the yearly open. We can see that this would act as our, okay, maybe you can call it internal liquidity as well. I'm not sure. This would be your external. This would definitely be more of an external bit of liquidity. But it seems as though if gold is going to push back into the upside, this would likely be where that big reaction would happen. So I'd be targeting here and here. Actually, I think this has already been taken, but I would target here. That would be my first target, and this would be my second target. If I was going to be shorting gold, but I'm not touching gold at the moment. Not until I see how this change of character plays out. Because if it comes down, let's say into this verified demand zone, which it has, and now it's having a reaction, we could see a push back into the upside, right? So, but what's making me afraid of this market is that we've gotten too many confirmations of change of character into the downside. So maybe short. If you're looking for shorts, then what I just said would be your targets. If you're looking for longs, then you're just gonna have to wait for more confirmation here. You can actually see a bearish pennant forming as well. Where it comes down here, and then we just create this kind of shape. And this usually indicates that we will continue down. So, yeah, I'm too afraid to touch gold at the moment. I'll be waiting to see where that goes into the future. Okay, BTC, fantastic. Okay, it seems as though on one of my early morning breakdowns, we identified this as an unverified. It's now verified. It's a verified demand zone. Let me just change the character, change the color. Oh, I don't know why I've made it so dark. That's weird. Wonderful. So as you can see, I was waiting for this for BTC to come back down. I expected it would have come down to this area here, as this would have been the potential new demand zone created, but it didn't. It seems to have gone further down into a previous unverified demand zone, which has now become verified. And now we're looking for long positions. And so if I were to enter into this market, I would be looking for something such as this. I'm on a 4-hour frame. Let me drop down here. Wow, huge spike in buying volume. Look at that. Whoa, someone's put in a very big order. Yeah, I'd be looking at something such as this, maybe a 1 to 2.5 risk to reward ratio. That's a 1 to 3. Yeah, I might. Actually, yeah, we'll keep that up and we'll just expand the stop loss a little bit. Yeah, I'll do something like that. That would be my estimation of on BTC. Although, let's just take a look here. Got a nice break here. What was that previous? So it might actually come back to here today. So we might see something come back into this area here before and then just pushing up. And so if you wanted to wait for that extra level of confirmation, then you might wait for that retrace back into this area here, just beyond the day's open, and then enter into that position, trying to target the previous highs up here. It certainly seems the $80,000 level is going to be a very hard one for BTC to break through. Okay, let me just head back over to GU because this is the trade that I'm personally invested in, and it's starting to look a bit promising, which is great. As I said, I want to see this. Hopefully there's not a big reaction when we get up to about here. I'm guessing there'll be a big reaction when we get up to here, right? I think it will spike. I think we'll see a really nice push up and then spike and then down. what I'm hoping for, and put my money where my mouth is. I guess I entered into that trade, so hopefully that plays out. If not, we'll likely see it potentially retrace back into this temp target box here. I don't see it breaking below the previous level. I don't see it breaking this level here. It could re-enter this verified hourly demand, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't. Otherwise, I'll get stopped out. All right, let's take a look at the DXY. Wonderful. We are beginning to see a really nice push into the downside. Let's take a look on the 5-minute frames. We are seeing some beautiful breaks of structure, full body candle breaks. This is a good indication that it may continue into the downside. If it continues into the downside, then we are likely looking at, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit here, guys. We are likely looking at it coming into here. If there's no reaction here, we may fall even further down to here. We may then see a small pullback, which would likely grab whatever is resting above these levels here, and then a really nice push into the downside. That's a potential we might see. Might see that. That would be ideal. Well, this is an hourly candle as well. Yeah, so you can see a really nice little spike here. So if you look at some of the lessons that I've been putting out there on price action candlesticks, this doji, so it's formed a doji, and this represents that there could be a potential reversal. And on the higher time frame, higher time frame dojis give you a little bit more insight. So an hourly, that looks quite nice. I am quite pleased with that. Really hoping, oh, no, it needs to really come down. It needs to break this down here. Really needs to break here, If it breaks here with a full body candle break, then we just know it's going to fall off a cliff. We just know it's going to keep going down, which would be incredibly ideal. What we got to be mindful of is it on, oh, it's today. Yeah. What we got to be mindful of is the Fed interest rate decisions. It's coming out at, so that's 7 p.m. UK time. That's horrendous. What a horrendous time to come out. I think it will come out, and I think, I don't know. I think because Trump really wants to bring interest rates lower. And it could be, he might come out with a surprise rate decision, and they might bring it down by 0.25%. So that would then bring it out at 3.5. And if that were to happen, then that would push the DXY into its nosedive. That would push it incredibly far down. Yeah. All right. Well, we can head back over to GBP USD, see how that's going on, how that's going. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's moving up slowly. It's getting a lot of resistance, though. We can see a lot of resistance, although it is supported by volume. We are 5 seconds away from the next candle to be formed, and this will be the first 15-minute candle of the London Open. And okay, wonderful. That's kind of what we wanted to see. We wanted to see really nice volume, a nice clean candle. Unfortunately, there's no breaks of structure here at the moment, but it's certainly looking promising. Certainly looks promising. Yeah. Okay. This is it's a bit of a shame. Seeing a bit of resistance. Let's go down to the lower frames. Let's see what we might be seeing. We might be seeing on the lower frames. Oh, look at that. Oof. A lot of sell pressure there. That is not good for me. A lot of sell pressure. So what we could be seeing is, because this broke up here, this kind of broke that structure a little bit, we could see that it will retrace back to here. Maybe go a little bit lower. Might go a little lower before pushing up. That could be what we're seeing. But this is a low time frame. This is like the 5-minute frame. So yeah. All right, let's look at gold. How we doing? I think gold would have, yeah, like, you know, if gold was going to continue down, we would have seen a really strong amount of momentum breaking through this low. So again, this is why I'm afraid. This is why I wouldn't be shorting at this point in time. Let me just jump over to the 4-hour frame. Yeah, see, like, yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm not convinced yet that I don't think the market knows which way it wants to go. I think it's just, you know, yeah, on the lower time frames, so 4, 1, 15-minute frames, we are bearish, but on the higher time frames, we are bullish. So we've got to be a little bit careful here. Let's imagine, let's drop out to the weekly, because we are in. Oh no, let's drop to the daily, because my goodness, the weekly is too bullish. You know what we could be looking at is, okay, let's take the swing high. We got the swing low. And what we could see is that the price would, yeah, seems like it would likely come down into that verified demand zone, maybe a little bit further. I think the 200 EMA would do something like this, and we'll see a bounce. And so this, if a reversal was going to happen, this might be the location I would be looking for that long, if that makes any sense, right? I don't, as I said, there's no very clear direction at the moment. There's a lot of change of character into the downside. I don't want to start shorting and then a reversal happens. That would be really, that would not be ideal. Oh, push me back out. There we go. Right. Yeah, so you'd be looking at something down here. You'd be looking at something down here for that potential reversal. So as I said earlier, if you're looking for short-term shorts, then okay, fine. There might be some opportunities in here, especially on the lower time frames, right? You know, let's say, for example, if you're just following a simple break of structure strategy, and you just see a really nice full body break below this candle, you might want to try and short down to here, or at least see what happens. See what happens when it reaches this area. When it does reach, so let's just imagine. So if we get a full body break, yeah, you could easily take in maybe a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio just on that lower time frame, right? If we get a full body break closure, should we drop down to the 5-minute? Let's have a look. That did not break yet. It's about to break. You can certainly see that. So we'll probably enter around about there. Stop above here. What is that? A 1 to 1.5, yeah, roughly. Yeah, just target these lower lows down here. Or, you know, I mean, like if we were looking at perhaps the hourly and we wanted to maybe target the lows that were resting down here, right? So what would we be looking at here? Which would just be roughly around about there. You know, that could be a nice setup as well, right? Oh, and that brings you to 1 to 2.5, yeah. I'll just be very conservative, but I wouldn't do that. I'm not personally going to be entering into a gold position today. I'll leave that open though anyway. But I wouldn't be entering into that position today. What is this? BTC? Yes, wonderful. So as I said, we might see the price come down on BTC down to about here before pushing up. So let's just wait for that. Although I have not personally entered onto a BTC, but this would be the trade I'll be looking for today. Um, yeah, I think what I should have done is waited for a bit of confirmation here, full body break, wait to see what happens when it comes down to here. If it then breaks here, then enter that position, targeting those previous highs that we looked at earlier. Heading back to GBP USD. Okay, it looks like I'm now in lost territory. That's a bit of a shame, but it's not unexpected. DXY, yes, of course, it is trying to push itself back up. What's really nice is that I'm seeing this potential reversal candle. And with that potential reversal candle, I'm hoping it continues pushing down. So I'm still quite confident on my trade on the GBP US dollar. And I'll just keep monitoring that for the time being. That would also mean that JU should be on its way down as well. Should be. I'm gonna darken this because my goodness, the amount of times the price has entered this supply zone and reversed. It's like it's more than a verified supply zone. It's like the JU just really loves coming back into the zone and reversing. It's becoming a bit of a habit for the JU. As I mentioned before, I am looking for short positions on the JU. So what we are potentially seeing, I've not done this analysis this morning, so I'm doing it now. Yeah, you can see a lot of sell-off pressure here. That is a good sign. We're seeing, what are we on the 15-minute frame? Oh, we're not seeing much volume. This really feels like fake volume. This feels a little bit fake. I don't think it really wants to go back up, which is really good. Did we break here? We didn't break here. We didn't break there. We could see it potentially come roughly around this area, but I don't see it breaking higher than that. Let's have a look here. Yeah, if I was going to enter, I'd be looking at something like well there, but I'll put my stop loss around here. Let's bring that over just so that we are aligned with where it is likely not going to go. Okay. Let's just imagine we entered into that position there, targeting on 1 to 2. 1 to 2. Where's that previous demand zone? So we pushed up, we broke that market structure. This would be that demand zone here. This would be where the price would have a little bit of a problem. So we'll just target just before it. 1 to 2.43. Give that a go. See if that plays out. Of course, tomorrow I will be rechecking all of this, of course, especially after big macroeconomic news and announcements that are coming out. Also, the market usually doesn't really move so aggressively prior to the news, but my goodness, when it gets to the day, as in once the news is announced, gosh, the volatility is insane. Let's head back over to Euro US dollar. Again, we're bullish on Euro US dollar. What we can see here, really nice break of structure caused by this area here. And so if you're looking for a long position, now would be a pretty interesting time to do so. Potentially putting your stop below here, 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio would be absolutely fine. I'd be cautious about this high though. I would be cautious about that high. So yeah, 1 to 1.5. Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one. Let's see, has it already been taken? Oh, it got taken. It got taken. Yeah, it got taken. I'd play this one a little bit conservatively. I wouldn't be 100%. I wouldn't take such a large contract size on this. I wouldn't take a large contract size on that. Um, yeah. Anyway, I would be looking for the long. That gives me a nice indication of going long on euro dollar. You might be asking why. Well, because okay, this demand zone has already been verified. We can tell that this demand zone uh, is verified, already taken. And then we see this push up, breaking the market structure just here with a full body candle break. And we just take the last couple of candles that caused that break and we create our new temporary demand zone. And so if it comes down and you get stopped out, then you just need to reevaluate. You need to wait there. You need to really reevaluate. But I'll still be looking for longs. I've just re-entered the market, even if I get stopped out from there. I'll just wait for some type of confirmation, another bit of confirmation before entering into that next trade. Okay, so we got a really aggressive push into the downside on GBP US dollar. Oh, that's very frustrating to see. Um, but it is, like I said, not unexpected. Um, yeah, I think the price is just what would be the price? Dollar firms, investors brace for the Fed decision. Yeah, because I mean, if they increase interest rates, if the Fed decides to increase interest rates because of the war, then yeah, we're gonna see the GU really drop. And so if I get stopped out, where would the price likely continue into? We'll probably see it come down here, kind of a little bit of a pullback here, and it may re-enter into these areas here. Maybe go back to the month's open before we see something. Um, Before we see a potential long position. So hopefully that plays out today. Let's jump back to the DXY because a lot of this is relying on the DXY. We're seeing quite a bit of buying pressure pushing the price up on the 15-minute frame. But there is a bit of a rejection, which is nice. Let's hope it fully gets rejected. Let's have a look. Beautiful head and shoulders on the 5-minute frame. Breaks structure here. Could see price coming back up into this area before continuing its way down. So I'm not too afraid. Oh, well, we've seen the price come up into this area. Okay, well, price has already entered into that area. Might push up a little bit more, but ultimately, I think it's still going to continue into the downside. That is mainly all my analysis of the day. So I'm just going to wait and see how the market plays out. Hopefully we see some really nice shorting opportunities on the DXY, on the JU. Hopefully we get some really nice long opportunities on the GBP USD and the Euro dollar, as well as BTC. Gold, I've already kind of gone through that with you guys. I wouldn't be trading that. I'd be waiting for a more clearer direction. Although if I were trading, I'd be looking for shorts. It's a bit of an odd thing to say, but I'll be looking for shorts on the lower time frames, but ultimately longs on the higher time frames, because we are technically still very bullish on XAU. So another 10 seconds, and then a 15, 5, and 30-minute candle will be formed. So usually we'll see a little bit of movement when that happens. There we go, just been formed. Nice. Hopefully that continue push down. More volume, push it down. Push down more aggressively. There we go. If it pushes and just breaks that market structure, we know it's just going to continue falling. Come on. Let's take a look at XAU. How's that coming on? Yeah, so. Oh, nice. It broke. Yeah, it broke that market structure. Look at that. That's nice. That's good. That's really good. So, yeah, and then we're in a pretty good opportunity here. I mean, if you're targeting these lows, then, I'm pretty confident you'd probably get there. Quite confident you'll get there. There might be a bit of a pullback around here, around this area here. Might see a bit of a pullback. So you'll be back into minus again before it continues down. That'll be my prediction. Let's have a look at BTC. Yep, nice. Okay, so that again, that one also pulled back. Which was, I think it was on a 15-minute frame that I was looking at, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, no, I thought it would pull back to about here. It's okay. It seems as though this became the retest. Stayed within the line, stayed within it. Great, fantastic. So again, I'm confident this is going to continue into the upside. Lovely. DXY, are we falling? Yes, we are slowly but surely. Euro US dollar, no, that's just stuck at the moment. Although I think on technicals we're seeing a pretty nice setup here. You know, it came down, strong push up, great volume. I mean, it came down into this temporary demand zone, and usually we should see that push up. I am a little afraid of these highs, though. A little afraid of what's resting above these highs. Hopefully, it goes to this high. That would be the better option, but I'd be a little afraid of what happens when it enters when the price reaches this level. USD JPY, nice. Okay, this one's also pushing down. Fantastic. Hopefully, it will continue into the downside. Just need to wait. As I said before, I am bearish on the JU, but I just hate how this consolidating market is it's just it's crazy to me. You know, it's not a fun market to be trading. Head back to the JU. Okay, so we're seeing quite a lot of push into the downside. I might get stopped out. It's perfectly fine, no problem. It could come down to around here. Yeah, just like on each, like the 5-minute, the 15, and the hourly, it was kind of hard to decide at which part of this movement up can be considered our potential demand, and that's why I went in, because I thought that this would make for a really nice potential demand zone, right? Looks like I might have been wrong there, but it's okay. If I get stopped out, hopefully I'll be looking for another entry into the upside on the GBP US dollar. Head back to DXY. Yes, please continue into the downside, please. 5-minute frame. Seeing a lot of movement here. Beautiful head and shoulders formed on the 5-minute frame. Head and shoulders is bearish. That means it wants to go down. You know, 'cause the price came up again, tried to break that previous high, couldn't. Continues to go down. Means more momentum is pushing the price into the downside. So DXY is looking pretty nice for us. I will be feeling a lot more confident once it passes through this 200 EMA, and even more confident if it passes through this 200 EMA. But we might be a long way off from that. Okay, a new 5-minute candle has just been formed. Where are we with that? Oh, struggling to break that low. See, just doesn't want to break this low. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. Okay, well, it broke the low. Even though it's a wick break, and a wick break is usually a weak break. So full body breaks are the best ones for us. When we see some nice big full body breaks, breaking previous lows, this gives us a little bit more confidence that the price will continue within that direction. So yeah, DXY is looking pretty nice for us. Hopefully it does continue into the downside. Let's jump back over to XAU. It's okay, this was expected. Could see the price coming back up a little bit. I'm on the 5-minute frame, aren't I? Here we go. 15-minute frame, yeah. Yeah, this is expected. The price could come back up before pushing itself even lower. But as I keep mentioning, I don't like trading gold at this point in time. There's no clear trend for me to enter into these positions. So, as I said a few weeks ago, gold was playing very nicely, very nicely into a lot of our technicals, where price came up, it created this demand zone, it came down, re-entered that demand zone, pushing itself back up, grabbing that liquidity, pushing itself down, creating a supply zone, came up to that supply zone and pushed itself back down. It was just beautiful. It was playing very nicely into our technicals, and now we're just seeing it just no clear trend emerging. On the lower frames, yeah, it's pushing down. On the higher frames, it's pushing up, and I don't like that conflict between the lower frames and the higher frames. So I need to wait. If we see all the time frames with very similar trend indication, then this is fantastic. Technicals play very nicely when that happens. Let's have a look at BTC. Yeah, BTC is moving up slowly. I don't think we're going to see any substantial movements on BTC today. Maybe halfway through the New York session, maybe about 4 p.m. England time. So just an hour before the market closes in London, we will likely see some pretty big movements, especially after all of these announcements. But yeah, what time is those microeconomic news coming out? These are all coming out at 1:30, so we've got plenty of time for all this to come out. And it's looking better than expected. Actually, there's not very many forecasts. And housing stats, building permits, all these durable goods orders are not massive macroeconomic news. It will be the Fed press and the Fed interest rate decisions. These are the big ones that will be coming out. And I'm quite certain we will see some insider trader pushing a lot of volume into the market 15 minutes before it's announced. So it will give you a good indication of that. Just while I'm on DXY, let's just take a quick look. Just leave this, just lock that yellow grid. Yeah, nice little breaker structure. It's pushing down. It's giving me some confidence. Let's go back to GBP USD. All right, back in profit. That's nice. Hopefully this support remains strong, and I hope the price does not push past the support. If it does, then we're likely going to maybe come a little bit further and then my stop loss, and that's not going to be great for me. Yeah, it's moving very slowly though. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's got a bit of a struggle here. I mean, on the lower time frames we can see, okay, yes, it pushed up. We've then formed this little zone here. The price has come down a bit too deep for my liking, to be honest. It's a bit too deep for a retest, but it stayed true. It didn't break below this area, which is good, but it's a bit precarious at the moment. I'm a little bit afraid of this, of GBP coming down a little bit too much. But if we see a nice full body break on the lower time frames above this level, then I won't need to look at the charts for a long time. What else do we have coming up? We should have the Bank of England interest rate decisions coming out as well. That is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, also forecasted, and the expectation is that there will be no hikes at all. And I do believe that the the head of the Bank of England said that they won't be playing around with the interest rates. So let's hope they stay true to their word, and there will be no big surprises when the Bank of England announces on Friday. Oh, sorry, tomorrow, Thursday. What else is coming out this week? GDP growth rate quarter over quarter for the US forecasted to be much higher. So we're seeing quite a lot of macroeconomics suggesting that the DXY is going to retrace back into the upside. And if that is the case, then I think we need to see the DXY come down first to grab liquidity to then support the price movement into the upside when all of this information comes out. Because yeah, that's huge. You know, that's what 1.7-ish% higher growth rate quarter over quarter. Let's take a look at the DXY. Yeah, so okay, yeah, so that would make a lot of sense. Hopefully it comes down. It will need to grab liquidity resting below these lows, and then we'll see a sharp movement up. That's what we might see with this economic data coming out. I say that mainly just from experience. You know, historically we've seen that the price often likes to be pushed to areas on the chart that have high potential liquidity zones, so larger institutions can jump into their price points and push the price where they want it to go. You know, so that might be a pretty interesting strategy there, or that might be where the price wants to go. Oh, how frustrating! DXY still has people buying. Stop buying. Start selling. Good Lord. Hopefully hopefully a lot of sellers are going to jump in and push the price down. GBP USD, yeah, it's just struggling on this line. I have a feeling I might get stopped out before the price reverses into the upside. Happens all the time. Very frustrating. Euro dollar, yeah, okay. Well, again, very similar thing that's happening on JU. I always notice whenever I enter into a position, it loves to just play around this line, my entry line. Always does it, and then it drops. This happens to me far too many times. You know, I can't enter, and then there's a nice big move, and then it just plays around up there, right? Very frustrating. USD JPY, yeah, nice. We're seeing that push down at the moment. I think it's coming back up for a retest. As I said, it might even come a bit further. But the reason why I put the stop loss so high is because I don't think it's going to break above these previous highs here. I don't think it's going to break these highs. Just look at, you know, historically how prices come up to these levels and just reversed aggressively. So I don't think it's going to break through these highs. Certainly hope it doesn't. But JU is looking pretty nice for us at the moment. BTC, I don't think that's going to be moving very much at the moment. Again, it's just playing around with my entry line. Kind of frustrating. But yeah, on the hourly, you can see that we want to target. Let me just remove some of these lines. I think it's getting a little too messy for you guys. Just remove a few of these parts here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to come up to the 80,000, especially with a lot of the conflicts beginning to die down. I think BTC being a risk-on asset, financial instrument, a lot of people are going to be jumping back into these risk-on financial instruments, and BTC being one of them will push it back up to 80,000. I don't think we'll be seeing it breach 100,000 for quite some time, but remain hopeful. Oil's starting to push up again. That's it's a bit concerning, but I think this is also driven by is it the UAE just left OPEC, or Saudi Arabia just left OPEC or something? I didn't read the report so much, but yeah, we can see that oil is beginning to push itself back up again. Bit frustrating, bit concerning. We can look at the Nasdaq if you want. Nasdaq's pushing up really nicely, which is good for us, because when we see the stock market growing, then what this often means is people are selling off their USD, their currency, their reserves, so that they can buy you know, different financial assets, right? So Nasdaq being one of them, the S&P, crypto being another one. Usually gold, but you know, gold's a bit. I don't know why gold and the US dollar seem to be following one another. It's a bit odd to be seeing that, but this is good. So we can see Nasdaq's pushing up. Let's have a look at the S&P 500, also pushing up. Very, very nice. It's great because I'm a long-term investor as well, so I've got a lot of shares in these indices. So it's pretty good for my overall portfolio as well. Yeah, so Nasdaq's on its way up, S&P and oil, that's a bit concerning, but it just helps us understand what's happening within the Forex market as well. Right, back to DXY. Seems on the lower time frames that price does not want to go down. Very frustrating. Let's see how the trade is playing out on the JU. Yeah, okay. So I'm in a loss at the moment. It's not fun. Really not fun when you're in a loss. But the issue with prop trading is that you need to be incredibly accurate with your entries, mainly because of the way you need to put your stop loss. You can't risk more than I think 1% of your account. So you either need to go in with a very low contract size so that you can put your stop loss as far away as possible, or you go in with an incredibly high contract size, but you need to be entering right at the time of reversal. And you know, not many traders know how to do that, including myself, right? I can just identify the potential areas where it's going to reverse, but I can't tell you that okay, it's going to reverse right now. Wish I could. that'd be pretty good insight. Okay, so we're seeing a bit of a struggle here. Great that it's finally trying to push itself through. Let me drop down to lower time frames. Let me have a look at the volume. How far away are we from the next candle? 2 minutes and that much volume going in. It's a pretty good sign. It's pretty nice that we're seeing that volume push the price up. Just break above this high. If it breaks that high, then I'm confident that we're going to see the GBP push up even further. No, too much rejection going on now. Let's have a look. Opening over there, yes. All right, let's jump back to DXY. This must be pushing itself up as well. Yeah, it's come down. It's having a little bit of a consolidating crisis here. Let me remove this line. Bounced nicely off that 200 EMA. We do not want it to bounce. We want it to go through it on this lower frame. So what are we maybe seeing? Well, we may be, what am I doing? This should act as that retest. So it would have been nicer to be a bit deeper, actually. Would have been nicer if the DXY came back for that retest a little bit deeper. Obviously not breaking this high. And then we would have seen quite a nice push into the downside. I think that would have been really nice. That would have been perfect, in fact, for our technicals. Oh dear. I'll leave that up just for now. Yeah, but we're seeing some nice full body candlestick breaks. We need to see this get broken. You know, once we see a full body break below this line, then we're going to feel a little bit more confident that the price will continue downward. We're about 10 minutes out from the new hour candle to be formed. Let's have a look at the hour candle. Okay, based on price action concepts, this is looking pretty nice because we're seeing a reversal doji formed, and these are historically indications that reversal is about to happen. And if this closes as it is, this is a bearish Maraboozle candle, and a bearish Maraboozle candle, well, looks exactly like this, means that it's going to, because the doji is there and bearish Merbuzo candle closes, like it needs to close like this. It can't have long wicks. This is an indication that it's going to continue downward. So 9 minutes. We got to wait for 9 minutes. If it closes like this, I can close my charts. I can just close my charts and walk away for a bit because I know that price is going to want to continue down. But you see this wick? Let me just remove these lines down here. See this? We can't have this big wick at the bottom. It needs to come down and just close at this level. And then that would be our Marabouzo candle. Let's go back over to GBP US dollar. Yeah, we're not going to see many substantial movements here. The hourly, I wish there was going to be a bullish Marabouzo here. That'd be lovely. But so this is a really nice. This is the candle I would want formed right here. Oof, that would be absolutely brilliant. Euro dollar. I'm quite pleased that I've not been stopped out of any of these potential entries. Quite pleased about that. That's pretty good. God, that was a really deep push down. Whoever entered into. Oh, sorry. No, we didn't enter there, did we? We entered way earlier. Yeah, we entered around here, so it's fine. Yeah, we didn't have to suffer this pullback. But this is a nice pullback. This is a really nice pullback into this potential demand zone. If it is a demand zone, right? It's unverified. It's always subjective to the trader. But yeah, I think this is quite nice. Even if we get up to about here and then there's a reversal, I still think that was a pretty nice entry. USD JPY should be going down. Yeah, I do wish this would push down a little bit more. Even if I haven't entered into this position, I've just given an indication of how I would trade it. But if I had entered into that position, it would be on very low contracts. Maybe just a 0.6, 0.5 contract. I wouldn't have gone very hard on that one. Let's have a look at gold. Been a while since we looked at gold. Oh, this is kind of going okay. Yeah. Remember, we're bearish on gold. Entry was up here. I think it was on the 5-minute frame. We entered at. Yeah, entered around about here. Seeing some nice little breaks. Again, we want to see some full body breaks, but overall, we're seeing a quite nice push down. What I'm a little afraid of on this one is that this would be where the pullback is, and sometimes it might spike before coming down and stop you out. So, could actually extend this stop loss just by a little bit, just up to about there. Because if it breaks past that, there's no point. You're just gonna have to keep waiting. Because if it breaks past that, you can just see we're just consolidating. And a consolidating market is not a fun market to trade. Absolutely not. BTC, let's see how that's playing out. Oh, that was a nice little spike up here, wasn't it? Another little spike. There's a lot of volume there. Look at how much volume. A lot of buying pressure entered here and a lot of selling pressure entered here. How can these 5-minute candles contain so much selling pressure? Well, and that's clearly fake volume, isn't it? That's see, that candle there had all of this volume, and this candle here has almost no volume. Oh, that's why I don't trade crypto. It's just I just feel like it's too speculative. If you think that the technology is really going to be helpful in the future, which by all accounts it probably is. Well, it certainly is. It's been proven. Blockchain, but as a day trader, it's just I hate how it trades as a day trader. As an investor, sure, if the price is reasonable, happy to enter, but not as a day trader. Absolutely horrific trading style. Back to DXY. Yeah, we're still struggling to break past this 200 EMA. Quite frustrating as well. Let's take a look here. so that the 5-minute just got formed. No, still not broken this low yet, have we? Have we? Is this broken? No, it's not broken at all. My goodness, that is just that's perfect support, isn't it? Perfect support. Ugh. If we see this broken, then this is going to be great. Let's see if JU is struggling. No, looks like I'm back in profit. That's nice. This is starting to become a much nicer setup, a much nicer. It's giving me more confidence that I entered in a good position. You know, came up, retest. Should have entered down here. I knew I should have entered down here. I was just trigger happy. And did I enter? Yeah. Yeah, I entered here. And then it came down and pushed up. Entered here. Really should have just kind of waited. Actually, no, I'm pretty happy with that entry. I'm quite happy with that entry. You know, it's always good to kind of reflect on, you know, how you choose to enter. Even if I get stopped out, I'll still be pretty happy with that entry. You know, I think it plays relatively well. In hindsight, if it does come down, stop me out, then fine. Maybe I should have waited a little bit more here. But I'm pretty happy with that risk. I'm happy with that risk that I took. Euro dollar also moving up similarly to the GBP US dollar. These are all going to be incredibly slow, by the way, guys, until the New York session. Until the New York session starts. Even I think the first like couple of minutes of the New York session, we're not going to see too much volatility. Hopefully. Oh, when's the Europe? The inflation rate's coming out, forecasted to be a little bit higher. It comes out at 1. If you guys watched my fundamentals video on Forex fundamentals, you would know that inflation rate, if it comes out and it's high, this is good for the currency because this may indicate that the central banks want to raise interest rates. Higher the interest rates, the more people want to buy that currency, obviously, because you get passive money off those interest rates. So it values the currency pretty nicely. So if the inflation rate comes out year over year for the European Bank, coming out at 3, where it was previous 2.7, this could indicate this could be that spike that gets us above that high here. That would be nice. Jump back to USD. We are 46 minutes left on the hour. So my mouse has stopped working. So let's well, as I said, I'm not watching JU these days. You know, I'll leave that for now. If any of you had entered into that trade, I mean, and it plays out, congrats. I didn't enter into that, but Euro, yeah, we want that to go up. GBP, yes. So let's see on DXY. Let's see if that Marabouzel formed. It's not a Marabouzel. That's a shame. That's a big shame. Okay. Oh dear. Wow. That's a sharp move. That's a super sharp move. What happened there? Is this another glitch? Yeah, because there's no big moves on the other. Why did it just drop like that? Oh my goodness. What is going on with the DXY these days? It's like a huge glitch. Luckily, I'm recording this. We can play it back later, and you can see what happened there. But that's odd, very very odd. It's like somebody is. screwing around with this market. Because, I mean, we had a similar glitch a couple of days ago. This thing here, look at this. Look at what happened a couple of days ago. Look at that. Really crazy, huh? Well, that's really very frustrating that this would happen. It just makes the entire market an unfair place to trade. A really unfair place to trade. What happened to JU? Doesn't seem like anything really happened to JU, but that that flash might have caused a bit of a reaction on people's accounts, stopping them out unfairly. That's not very good at all, is it? Um, well, I mean, if that flash had stayed and continued pushing down, that would make sense, but it just seems fake. Why does that keep happening on the DXY these days? Well, hopefully it doesn't affect my trading. Hopefully I don't get stopped out like that. It's very unfair. That's very, very unfair for anybody who is trading and just got stopped out in that way. Really, really bad. Anyway, because the that will be the live technical session for the hour that I can give you guys. I'm just going to quickly go through all of the setups that I've explained today. Gold, we are in a short-term short. I personally am not in that position though, just to keep that in mind, but I did do that bit of analysis. We might see a pullback up to here, so don't be afraid. Hopefully it doesn't stop you out, but if it does stop you out, just stay out of the market for the time being, before then hitting your TP. So hopefully this is how gold is going to react on the lower time frame, on the 15-minute frame. BTC USDT, we are bullish. We are now waiting to on the higher time frames. This is an incredibly low time frame. We are hoping to break a new higher high, breaking past here, and hopefully TPing before the 80,000 level. I think BTC will find a resistance ceiling at 80,000, but I certainly would not be surprised if this trade plays out, because we are currently bullish on BTC, so that's the trade that I will be playing today. The DXY, absolutely horrific movement. This is very frustrating, but I am bearish, short-term bearish on the DXY. I think it needs to go down, grab some liquidity before this macroeconomic news comes out. We can actually see that it's now pushing up, and if it pushes up past this, then I will be stopped out annoyingly on my other trades. That's really moving up, isn't it? But I am currently bearish on the DXY, although I haven't shown any entry or exits or TP levels. Heading over to the GBP USD, I am bullish on the GU. Currently actually in a trade myself. Very frustratingly, it seems as though something, I don't know what happened with the DXY guys. I'm okay when trading just doesn't go my way, but when you see something like that, it's like, somebody's got to take a look at that, right? Surely. Ridiculous. Just makes trading very unfair for everybody. But anyway, I am bullish, so even if I do get stopped out today, I will be waiting for maybe some of these lows to be taken out, and then wait for confirmation back into the upside, and I'll re-enter into that position, targeting those previous highs. Euro dollar, that would also be coming down. Yep. Euro dollar, I would have entered into this position, trying to target these previous highs as well. Oh, look at that. Oh dear, it's really coming down now. Look at that. 9 a.m. call just came out, didn't it? Look at that. Oof, too much pressure pushing it down. USD JPY, I am bearish on the USD JPY. I put my stop loss pretty high up. It seems as though, I don't know, the market just doesn't really want to play into my technicals today. Kind of embarrassing that on the last minute of this live streaming session that all these trades start going against me, but it's okay. These things certainly happen. As a trader, I have had significant losing streaks before, so it's not a big issue. But if you were looking at JU, I would be bearish because we just see that the price has come up to the supply zone so many times and reversed, and it just seems to be doing the exact same thing. Just keep in mind this week that there is a lot of economic news coming out, which is going to drive the price to fluctuate and be incredibly volatile. So just be aware of that as well. So you might get what we've just seen, these big flashes in price movement pushing you out of your positions. Right. Anyway, traders, that is everything. Of course, in the future, I am certainly hoping that we can extend these live trading sessions and bring on new people into the future as well. But thank you for sticking around this long, and good luck trading.